Imagine Over 50, and I am Marge or Margie, whatever you want. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. It's really important. I'm trying to come up with ideas for the program, and people don't always want to hear what you're feeling, but you know what? Today it's going to be one of those days where you're going to hear about my feelings, not in a bad way. By there? No, 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 no. So, make sure you check us out on Facebook at Imagine Over 50, or you can just simply email me at imagineover50@gmail.com. And today, it's going to be a different kind of a podcast today. I decided not to do any job searches. I decided not to look at my emails today, just not interested. And today, I'm not even stressing about my travel agency or even my job search. I am giving myself permission to be creative because today is about something more than coming up with a job search, Do you remember a time, that version of you when you were growing up as a child? I know I bring this up a lot, but I do find it helpful, and I'll tell you why. Imagine you were coloring, or go back in time rather, when you were a child. The child that had no idea about what the world was like, or the fact that you didn't like this person or that person. Just stop, okay? And do you remember the version of you that liked to be creative? You loved to color, you loved to draw, you loved to go out and play outside with all of your neighborhood friends, And I remember that, I have been working on this little bag of mine. If some of you must know, I started doing this not too long ago. And I'm liking how the bag is coming out. And as I go along, I will decide whether or not I'm going to use it. But, I've discovered something lately about myself. Between the travel agency stuff, I am taking the time to learn about places, things to go, At one point, I thought the Maldives was just a fantasy thing, but in actuality, it's not. It's real. It's a paradise type of stuff going on. And you know what? That's important. I mean, that's the part that I like about doing the travel agency. And I'm learning, even though the clients haven't come in yet, I'm still going to go ahead and learn. But today, I just wanted to shut things down, including my mind, because I've been feeling so frustrated lately. The frustration is coming from endless job searches. You send your resume, and I did make an error on one of the podcasts I did not too long ago about Glass House. It isn't Glass House, it's actually Glassdoor. And I just want to make that quick correction, just to let you know that I have been focusing on looking for a new job. But there's something I've created or discovered recently about myself. I love to tell and write stories. I recently came up with a story on an old nursery rhyme of Jack and Jill. You remember that? Jack and Jill went up the hill. Yeah. Okay. Well, my Jack and Jill are king and queen. And the story came just like that in my head. And I just decided just to create a story with that. And I have been tinkering around with how my story in my mind that I have just made up is coming into some kind of reality. And it's making me feel so much better about what's going on, what's happening within the job search, But yes, my head is wet, but that's because I took a shower, and that's something you need to do once in a while too, is to clean up after yourself or just put yourself out of that funk, But my Jack and Jill story was about King Jack and the Queen Jill, they had children. They had 3 kids. And of course, they had 5 different pets because, the king and queen, they can do whatever they want, you know? And my king and my queen lived in this grand castle, the castle of white and gold trim. And everything inside the castle was gorgeous. And the king and queen were rulers of let's call it a magical land of make believe. There you go. But at any rate, the king and queen felt in order to help out their kingdom, they were going to just go ahead and charge taxes. And that taxes was supposed to be going for food, clean water, clean clothes, and jobs. hmm And all of a sudden, the king was being greedy. He was buying himself these fancy cars. He was buying himself some fancy gold. He was being stingy and greedy. hmm And anywho, the queen sent Queen Jill actually sent King Jack into prison in Lancelot. hmm And the king was put into a prison with only moldy bread and stinky, it was just stinky. It just wasn't okay. And after a while, King Jack realized his grave mistakes of being inappropriate, and then he realized he was just not doing the job he was supposed to be doing, and that was to help rule the people. The people were getting upset. They had clothes that were holes. They had moths coming out of the pockets. So if you could just vision that, yeah. So, at any rate, the king and queen came up with an agreement, and the king, Jack, came out of prison, of prison Lancelot, and in the prison, he realized, I am equally blessed. I have food. I had a place of my own, and those taxes really do need to go to the people as intended to. So King Jack came and he asked for Queen Jill to please forgive him. He just didn't know what was going on. And of course, you got to remember, the king and queen had 3 children. So the king went to his family, being very meek and crying and asking for forgiveness. And of course, Queen Jill forgave King Jack. Yeah, King Jack. And when the taxes were actually going for food, for clean water, for jobs, all of a sudden everybody was living prosperously. And the king never misused the taxes again. They were supposed to be going to the people, and that was it. And it kept the jobs going, if you know what I mean. And so I am liking my story. How do you like it so far? It's just something I come up with all the time, like pretty much like my aunt and the chip story. It's just something I come up with. But you could be the child who used to play with dolls, little dolls. You could be like the type that I love to play house. I just, I like to do all that sort of stuff. And sometimes you just have to be in your inner child where you are possibly creating, taking a day off from the reality of not being able to find a job. hmm And now that I am turning 60, I'm realizing that I have been learning a lot. Yes, it can get discouraging of not getting new clients right now, but that's okay. I'm still learning and I'm still growing. But sometimes you have to give yourself the permission just to take a mental health break. It's very important, actually. But so today, I'm going to be thanking God for watching over me and to giving me some kind of insight. I enjoy being creative, and you know what? It lifts up my soul. So, yes, I'm going to let my imagination just go wild today. I'm going to continue working on my bag. I might even take out some crayons and pencils and paper and just draw and just for the heck of it, you know? Hey, check us out on Facebook on Imagine Over 50. That page, as of Monday, will be changed to public to private. What I want to do is create the Facebook page where you can also say, hey, I'm feeling this, and this, without feeling like embarrassed, like you're putting out yourself out to the world, but it's not within the world, if you know what I mean, you know? But it gives you a chance just to have a sounding board, because I know there's a lot of us out there trying to find something, and we're over the age of 50, so, you know, sometimes you give yourself that, oh, maybe I'm not worthy. Yes, you are. You're strong. You are intelligent, and you are resilient. That resilient part is definitely into me today, and I'm choosing it, you know. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and email me if you need to at imagineover50@gmail.com. And I want you to enjoy a creative day and just take some time for you. Bye.